And I want to show you how I use myClipBoard. Now this is the A3 size, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Guido and Verena, but this is the A3 size, and I'm using 11 by 17 inch ledger paper. And I use these clipboards all the time. I use them to teach, and so this is a class that's coming up that I'm teaching on how to market your online course. And so this is just a map that I'll give everyone, and then I'll draw on top of it to demonstrate. I'm also a coach. I am a certified Shift It coach with Christina Merkley. And so I will print out my charts here, and I can have a session with a client, and I could be writing for them. And the reason why I choose analog over digital most of the time is to really bring the human touch into the session. And so I'll use these charts so that people can see my hands, because they know I'm really there. And I'm taking out a set of my pins, because the pins that I use for this are the Neuland sketch ones and fine ones. And so this is my set that I use whenever I'm coaching. And because if I'm using an iPad or something, all of a sudden letters show up, but people don't know where they're coming from. And so there's a real disconnect. And so this allows me to really gain trust with my client. And then finally, I can also use it for facilitation. And this is a map that I've created, pardon me, about 6 years ago, and it's based on appreciative inquiry. So whenever I'm having a client, and in this case, this was a client who was really scared that they were going to lose a lot of business over the pandemic. And so we start out, I find out what it is that their concerns are, what is it that they want to create, and then I'll start designing during the meeting, I'll start designing the solution. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, about how I start to take this design and start mapping out some ideas for their meeting. And so I use this clipboard not only as a basis to work from, but also to organize. So I'll have a clipboard for each one of my projects. And when I'm teaching, especially when I was teaching locally in my community, and maybe I was teaching at bookstores or galleries where I was teaching lettering, but they didn't have desktops, I would bring them all clipboards like this, and they could use these clipboards.